dribble, creating his own shot. This brother is something magnificent. There is no way around it. And so for me, when I look at it from that perspective, and I think about impact, the way you affect not just the players you're playing with because you create open opportunities for them because of how people have to lock in and zero in on you. His movement without the basketball is something else that we need to pay attention to and really, really appreciate, because he scares the living hell out of you because you're always looking for where he's at because he's always moving like a road runner, for crying out loud. You can't find him, okay, until it's too late, all right? You take that into consideration. The impact that he has and the fear he instills in opposing defenses because he can shoot from 30, from 40, from 50, from 20, from 10, from 5. He scored 22 points in the paint yesterday afternoon, rather. 22 points in the paint. He's that dude. And it is a discussion, at the very least, that he is the greatest point guard that has ever played the game of basketball.
You know what? It's so hard, right? Because the evolution of the game and how now when we define the positions of the game, and I would encourage both of y'all, and Molly, you two, all three of y'all, to actually go read Rashard Phillips' book, right? Basketball Position Metrics. And Rashard Phillips was, one of the Detroit's finest, one of the greatest college players to ever touch the basketball here. Kobe Bryant said it was one of the best players he ever played against that never got drafted. But with that being said, he actually labeled Steph Curry as a hybrid guard. A hybrid guard is an offensive disruptor, right? But the fact of the matter is, because of history, he's going to go down as a point guard. And I actually said this last year after he proved me wrong and went on to win the championship in the NBA. And we forget that this guy's still doing this at 6'2", average around close to about 30 this year. So when I look at Steph, I said it last year and I'm going to stand on it right now. He is the greatest point guard to ever play the game of basketball, period.
I'm just so glad that we're having the conversation about the title of this position, right? Because for me, yes, right? This is the player that I've had the opportunity to watch through this era, continue to change the game, essentially, right? But it took me so long mentally to get to the place of seeing Steph as a pure point guard because he is such a prolific scorer, playmaker, shot creator, not just for himself, but for his teammates. And so, Perk, I love where you went in terms of acknowledging this hybrid guard, because in the era of positionless basketball, right, you think of that when it comes to bigs that are on the perimeter. Well, I mean,
So without even figuring out who comes off the list, somebody got to come off the list because he's that damn great. Let me get to a point. Y'all will be interested in this because I can't talk about the couple of Hall of Famers that I had a conversation. Me and Wilbon was here doing NBA Countdown in L.A. yesterday, and we had a conversation. Wilbon and I were going back and forth with it, and then we got on the phone with a couple of Hall of Famers who will remain nameless because they'll kick out what if we tell you who they are. They just made it very, very clear. You will not quote us. But they started dissecting and talking about, we was having this debate, Wilbon and myself, with these people, and they talked about Magic in this regard. They said, let's keep in mind that when you talk about Steph Curry, he's great, all-timer. Nobody denies that. But what they lamented about Steph Curry, folks, is that when you talk about him and you're not talking about his shooting, what else is there? The only time you talk about him